there, Sandra here from Create in Spain. Now today's idea was inspired, as it happens, by Jennifer McGuire and a video that she did recently. Now it's a technique that I knew I could do simply because I think it was like Jennifer. I found out about this completely by accident. I'll explain in a moment. I have here a cutout, or in fact it's two cutouts. This was cut from a laminating pouch. So I literally cut it in one go, the two layers, and you need to make sure you have them up the right way because otherwise this definitely won't work. And I've got a sheet of tracing paper here because it's going to go through a laminator. So the next thing I have is my frame, and I've used a fairly thin card for this because I think it's probably better with a thin one than a thick one. Now the reason I say I came across this technique by accident is because a long time ago, before I started making videos, I had been doing something with the laminator, and for some reason, I forget why, I had glitter around as well. And unfortunately, me being the clumsy person I am sometimes, I had a big pot of glitter. It's like a 4-ounce container of glitter, and I had the laminator out and I was doing something with that, and I accidentally knocked the glitter over. Oh, you've just never seen such a mess in your entire life. It was everywhere, and I was finding glitter for a very long time afterwards in the most peculiar of places. Oh, that gives me the shudders just thinking about it. Right, I have here a mouse that I'm going to put on here. I've put my frame within the border of the plastic. And I have a couple of flowers as well, but I think there are probably, I don't think I'm going to get very many in of these. Maybe I can put in 2 tiny little flowers like that. Yeah, just about. Right, now the rest of this is going to be decorated with some glitter, but it's chunky glitter. If you try using the very fine sort, it really doesn't work that well. And I'm going to use some bright pink because it should show up quite nicely. Ooh, love that colour. Wonderful colour. And what other colour? I've got a pink in here as well. Maybe I'll go for a pink. This is going to end up being a very girly item, this one. Okay. So, whoops. Didn't quite intend to do that. So I'm going to have to get my brush out and do a bit of brushing, I think. That was definitely a lot in one go. Now I'm trying to keep my fingers off of the plastic because I really don't want to get my fingerprints all over it. So the next thing to do is to get the top part of the laminate and to line it up with the bottom one. Now it's easiest if you line it up with the stalk part at the base. So there we go. And now I'm going to cover this over. So this is just tracing paper, but I need it to feed through my laminator. Now my laminator, just here, has been switched on for a few minutes. And let me tell you a story. I did some of these yesterday and I was happily putting it through the laminator. It went through 2 or 3 times without a carrier sheet. It went through, no problem at all. I put one through the 4th time and it ate it. And I had to take the laminator apart to get it all out again. Hence the carrier sheet. And that is going to go through now. Okay, so now I can show you something else while that's doing. On this particular one, it has a thing called ABS, and I haven't got a clue what that did because I couldn't find anything in the instructions about it. And I thought, very, very weird. But what it does is it stops the rollers from moving. So if you want to make sure that a piece gets particularly hot, you can put it in and then flick the ABS. So I'm put it in like that. Flick the ABS and it will stop it rolling for a second, and then it will continue. Stop. Continue. And the only reason I can think of is that, you know, if you need it to get particularly hot in one place, it will do it. So I'm hoping that that is going to be fine. I'm actually putting it through probably 4 times just to make sure everything is as melted as it's going to get, because I don't want it coming apart. And I'm turning it over in between whiles because I figure it's only got heat on one side probably, so yeah, why not increase your odds of great success. So this is going to be the last time that's going through, and we can see what it's come out like. The moment of truth. Yay, it's worked. And it's worked quite nicely by the looks of things. So I now have my cute mouse with all this glitter and things around it in a transparent case. So this is version 1 of my stand, and this is a box, very simple to make, and it literally opens up like so. You put your light in, you pop the bulb through the hole, close it up. This could do with being a much stiffer card, by the way. And then you can take your item and you can actually just put it into, if I can get it in, you can just put it into the front of the box and it will stand up and you'll have the light behind it. So that's one way of doing it. Now, of course, you could actually put some sticky tape in there or a dab of glue if you wanted to, but that's not the only version of a stand that I have. I've also done a rough mock-up with this type, and this one is, I think, 6 layers of foam, and all the layers have a slit in. I put some card around the outside as well, and then you can literally just stand that up in there and put your little light behind, like so. And so you have another method of making a stand for your decorative item. Another way of doing it involves cutting out a plain strip of card and making that into a ring so that you can pop one of these little battery operated candles into the back of it, like so. And finally, for the papercraft version, I have this one. Now this is similar to this one here, but I've made it slightly different in the shape, and I've made a flip card for it to go on. There we go. So it has its own flip card and it can be removed from there, and then you can just slip a note inside the card and say, just put it around one of these little votive candles, and then someone can have a nice little light up decoration too. Now, if you want to, of course, you can copy the design on the card base so that when someone removes this bit, they still have a card with the pattern or character or whatever it is that you've put on there. So I have here a little woodworking project which was made on the CNC, the Shapeco, and this is designed to be a little ornament for Christmas. You just put one of these little battery operated lights behind it, and then it glows in the dark, which is rather nice. Now, as it happens, this one didn't quite go according to plan. Do things ever when you first design them? I don't know, sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. And from the front, I think you'll agree, this one looks pretty good. From the back, it doesn't look quite so good because I had a little error on my design. So from the back of it, you can see a great wodge of glue. Not really how I'd like it to look from the back. And there was a reason for this. Because I had this in mind when I made it, I took the measurement of it and I thought, yeah, I'll do the base so high and that'll be fine. Well, of course, I'd forgotten that it was going to sit on something which makes it 3 millimeters higher, and you get the idea. So when I first did this, I wanted to make it a little bit higher, so I put some glue in there to raise it up, simply so I wouldn't waste it, because if it's going to go on my mantelpiece, I'm not going to look at the back of it. I'm not giving it to anyone, so yeah, I'm going to make use of it. I'm not going to just throw it out. So the front of this has a piece of foam on it and then a card sentiment. You can choose to do that or not. It's entirely personal choice. Now, you might be wondering how I did the middle bit, and this is relatively simple to do. And for that, what you want is a laminator, because all this is a laminated pouch with an image put inside and some sparkly, chunky glitter, chunky glitter, and some little glitter stars and things. And it's just sandwiched between two pieces of laminate. Now, as it happens, I cut the laminate to size with my silver bullet, my plotter, because I've got one, so you know that's obviously what I'm going to use. And I made this originally as a paper project, but it works rather well as a wooden one, I think you'll agree. So I have altered the file, and the file will now consist of something like this. I have included pieces for the side in the file as well, but on this one I just haven't put them on there. So the light will sit in like so, and you can see that it's below this rim, which is where I wanted it to be. And here, for example, is a side. Now, the reason why the side is not put on this one is simply because I made the same mistake as I made with this one. I made this too deep. So I need to make it shallower in order to fit it in. I've adjusted the file already, I just haven't cut another piece. So that goes in like so. And then there is an optional piece that can fit over the top of the light so that you don't see it at all, you just have the flame coming up. So at the moment this one doesn't have any kind of decor panel on it at all, as you can see. But then there is the final piece, and you put your decor panel in, and then you just put that piece on the top, and your holder is completely done. So yeah, that's how it's supposed to go together. To be honest, would I necessarily bother with the sides and anything else? Actually, probably not. As long as the light is going to be in the correct place, I'm probably not that worried about it having sides to it. But I have included them in the file, and if you need to, you can adjust them to suit whatever size you like. I've also done a template which is designed for being a tree ornament, so you simply cut 2 of these and put the laminate in between the 2 and glue them together. And then you can use the loop to hang it up.